Hi everybody. So today I'm doing a tarot reading for the sign of Cancer. Now if you know me, you know that I always shuffle my cards before I start the video, but I haven't looked at them yet. So we're going to find out what's going on with you together and take a look. Now I'm going to start here in the position of the back, which is the recent past. So let's find out what's going on. I have the Judgment card. Something big, right off the bat, Judgment. With the Oracle card of the Wall. Interesting. So I think that either we're kind of like hiding from Judgment. Either it's like something is like about to happen, or you know something will be happening, and we are sort of hiding, shielding ourselves from it, maybe just keeping away. That's what I'm getting from this, to be honest. Let's see what else we get. Hiding from some sort of like big consequence, some sort of like large scale I want to say announcement. Tell me more about this Judgment card. Tell me about this Judgment card. The brain. We're trying not to think about it. So something big recently happened. This could be really an announcement of any kind that is just big news, essentially. Big news here. And we're trying not to think about it. We're trying not to really engage it in any way. It could be that we're just not a fan of whatever this thing was that happened that's big news. I don't know what it is. Now, with the Tower here, it's like, we know it's true. Whatever this news is, whatever this big pow, like explosion of information here was, we know it's true, and we know it's like unavoidable, it's right, it is like truth, and it is positive in some way, but we don't want to think about it. On the bottom, Sagittarius. Yeah, it's about truth. It's about truth. We're kind of like, it's like blocking your eyes. Like, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at this big thing that is like, kind of like out there for everybody to see, that's just being announced through the rooftops. And I think it's kind of like everywhere. You know, I'm really getting news vibes here, like with everything that's going on in the U.S. with the January 6th committee, and like certain things are like big news right now. This kind of feels like that in a sense. Doesn't have to be that, but that's kind of the feel that I'm getting here. Is like we're trying not to look at like this big news. It's true, but we don't want to think about it. Has to do with a lot of people. Has to do, as I'm looking through these cards, Sagittarius has to do with the truth. Gemini has to do with people we're talking about. Has to do with a lot of people. And Pluto has to do with power. Power. And the people who have power, right? Okay. Now, this doesn't have to just apply to government. This could apply to your life. You know, the people who have power in your life, or organizations, or any kind of player in your life that has power over you, could be what this like big announcement or this big like blowout of information was about. Let's keep going. All right, so I want to take a look at your emotions, because what is interesting to me is I want to know how you feel about this information. It seems like you don't want to look at it, so how do you feel about it? This is going to be the position of the heart. All right, so it's interesting, and this makes a lot of sense now, the Hierophant. The Hierophant really tells me that you are kind of like attached to the old way. You were kind of like attached to how things were before somebody changed the game with this big announcement, this kapow here in the recent past. We were tied to that. We kind of are not necessarily ready to walk through this door into the future. We're not ready to go into the future. In fact, we would rather stick to the past, I feel. The doorway here has to do with the right moment. So I feel like what you're feeling is you're like, it's not the right time for me to let go of the way I used to think about things, the way I used to perceive this particular situation. You're not ready to do it. I feel like you want to be ready, but at a specific date. You're like, I will look at this. Let's actually hold this up. I will look at this, whatever this is, next week, and that's the date. That's the door. It's like, I'll look at that next week. I'll look at that in exactly 1 month. I'll deal with this at the end of summer. That's the door, because like I was saying, we want to maintain this way of life, this perception that we had in the past. We want to stick to the past. All right, let's keep going. So I want to take a look at your thoughts. This is the present moment now, by the way. So I want to take a look at your active conscious thoughts, because this is going to kind of explain to me a little bit more about what the situation is, I believe. So let's take a look. I have the 3 of Pentacles with the number 1. Wow. You're like, you don't agree with everyone else. You don't agree with the way that like everybody is moving towards the future. You feel like you're on your own. You're like, the 1 is you, the 3 is like partnerships and other people. But I feel like there's a discord here. There's a discord because remember, we want to be traditional. We want to do things the old way. And I think that, you know, there is a bit of a clash here. I think the number 3, the 3 of Pentacles people, are doing things the new way. And it kind of puts us to ourselves, puts us off in a corner. It kind of separates us from everybody else. That's the way I'm seeing this, is like because we're stuck in the old way and people are kind of like a little bit more forward thinking with regards to this particular topic, it kind of separates us. All right, so let's keep going. Now, I'm going to stay in the present, but I want to look at the actions you're taking at the moment. So this is going to be called the position of the hand. So I have the Ace of Swords with the Cup. Wow. Ace of Swords is clarity. Ace of Swords is the truth. Again, truth, right? You're dealing with the truth here. With the Cup, this is, the truth is, there's a lot of emotion tied to the truth. That's part of, I think, the processing. That's part of why we don't want to look at it all at once. But then again, remember, this is the past. Maybe now that we're in the present moment, we're a little bit more willing to actually look at the truth here. That's what I'm getting, is that we're starting to look at and face the truth and process the emotions that come with the truth, whereas in the past, I think we're trying to shield our eyes from the truth. Yeah. So let's go ahead and pull a card on this. Okay, I got 2 cards on this one. So I have the Moon. Now the Oracle card, the Moon, is just a tiny bit different than the Tarot card, the Moon. It's more about cycles, more about your habits than the regular Moon card. And then I have the Nut, or the Acorn here. Okay, so this talks about new habits. This talks about a new way of being, a new way to like do something day to day habitually. And again, we kind of want to do things in the old way for a little while longer. It's like, we'll do this thing in the new way next week, 1 month from now. Specifically, there's a specific date that we're planning to do things this new way, to actually process all these changes that have come. And I think we're now willing to make these changes. We're willing to incorporate these changes into our habits and our daily life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this is great. This is like a willingness to incorporate something new into your life. This is good. So let's move into the short-term future. So this is the last position, and then I'm going to do advice for you guys. So the short-term future, I have the Taurus zodiac sign as my oracle card, and then the tarot card here is the 7 of Cups upside down. This is being slow to make use out of all of this, essentially. Whatever the big change was, the big announcement that led to like a change of perception to your life and a change of ways of doing things, whatever this big announcement was, it's still going to take a little bit longer to kind of figure out how to incorporate these changes. So Taurus is just slow. It's taking things slowly, one step at a time. Slow and steady wins the race with Taurus. And then with the Seven of Cups upside down, it's almost like not being sure where to go, having like literally just like not knowing what to pick, or like just being confused by a lot of factors. So I think that, you know, this is going to be a process of integration, but you're willing to do it here. You're now willing to make this integration into your life. Tell me more about the Seven of Cups upside down. Why is this so aimless? It's almost like aimlessness because we don't have a clear-cut direction. We're slow to get a clear-cut direction because this is, I think, like a new habit, so it's a bit slow. So Libra here is the card that came out, even though it sort of exploded out of the deck. Libra. This is like, it's interesting because we've sort of faced the truth, but Libra is acknowledging it and saying it and having it be like stated in a factual form. It's like, this is seeing it and emotionally processing it. This is the present. The future is acknowledging it as a fact. Okay? But we are a little bit slow to do that. On the bottom, the 2 and Pluto. Wow. Whoa. Okay, so this is very interesting now. So on the bottom, the 2 and Pluto. This tells me that this entire, it's like adopting somebody else's, like a whole, this goes deeper. This is almost like you're forced to take on somebody's perspective, somebody's way of seeing things, and it goes deep. It's like you're forced to change your way of seeing things in a deep and profound way. And that's why it takes you time to process and accept things in a factual way. But digging deeper, it's heavy. The 7, the key, Jupiter. Yeah, this is heavy. It's heavy, and it's almost like it takes you have to do this. I'm getting like a hermit energy. It's going to take time to process this so that you can accept this, because it's almost like you are accepting. It takes relinquishing control to accept somebody else's perspective, you know? It takes a little bit of relinquishing control, and you kind of you're tied to your control, and you're tied to the past. So that's the hard part, is relinquishing control of the past. That's this, relinquishing control of the past. The 7's the past, the key is control. So that we can accept this other person's depth and into our being, and then acknowledge it as a fact, right? All right, so let's keep going. Now I'm done with the spread. Ooh, I shuffled these in a bad way. But now I'm going to just do advice for you guys. So the way I do advice is stuff just very simple and direct, what you guys should be focused on and doing for your best benefit right now. Like, what is the best strategy for you? So let's see. Can I have some advice for my Cancer signs? What's the best strategy? What should my Cancer signs be focused on? The Wheel of Fortune came up, but I hadn't even shuffled yet, so we're just to disregard it. The Wheel of Fortune is literally just saying, is just blessings, it's good fortune, but we'll leave that out there just as a sign of good fortune. But let's see if anything comes out. Can I have any positive advice? Stuff my Cancer should be doing, focused on. Any positive advice for my Cancer signs? The Hanged Man with the 8 of Swords. Hanged Man with the 8 of Swords. This is suffering for no reason. This is suffering because you literally don't want to see something. Suffering because you're blindfolding yourself. Now, the fact that this is right side up tells me this is a self-imposed blindfold. Like, this person put that blindfold on themselves. If it was upside down, it would be like completely out of their control. This is in your control. And with the Hanged Man, it is like, And going back to the reading, right? For a while, you really didn't want to look at like this big, explosive piece of news or information, bit of truth. This explosive bit of truth. We're gonna say it like that. And honestly, what it's caused you, and what it's going to continue to cause you, is prolonged suffering. If you just choose not to look at some of these just obvious, blatant truths and facts, and process them and incorporate them and accept them, and kind of like let go of the control, let go of the past. That's what this is saying. Let's do an oracle card. Tell me more about the Hanged. Oh. The bread. The bread. You have to. Wow. The bread tells me that it's like not even a choice. Like you need to. Like it's like it's just going to cause more suffering. If you don't stop, it's just going to cause a continuous sense of more and more need, more and more lack. On the bottom, Scorpio. And it's like, yeah, you have to hear shit from people. Look at this. Scorpio, the ear in the hand. This is people, like, yelling it. This is people, like, calling you to tell you something, right? And with Scorpio, what are they telling you? Shit. They're calling to yell at you. They're calling to, number 5, argue with you. They're just literally tapping you on the shoulder to tell you, like, a bunch of shit to your face. So that's what this is bringing. By not acknowledging this truth that everybody else sees that you don't want to look at, you're inviting in so much argument and so much like confrontation and conflict here with these 4 cards from people that you just, honestly, it's like the cards are saying you really need to look at this and process this. But I think you are. I think you are. You are doing it. It's just slow, and there's like intermittent periods where you kind of like take time off from it. But you need to process this, and I think talking with people helps. I'm just peeking at some of these cards. That's where I'm getting the rest of this information. Talking with someone might also help. All right, guys? That's going to be it. That's your advice for this week. I hope that resonated with you, Cancers. If it did, don't forget to press the like button for me. That helps me out a lot. But regardless, thank you guys so much for taking an interest in my videos. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.